Sounds familiar. Yeah.
I honestly didn't even want to rap on this.
Used to run through the money, now I'm too old. Man, I'm just playing. Shot when I land. Promoter paid for 6 flights. Got the team right. I just told Mr. Band. Came in for the bands. Beachside Villa for aesthetic. Just because and I don't even like the sand. Stan Smith sneakers on the beach. That's the water. I just came in for the tan. This was always planned. You wouldn't understand. I could turn a Chevy to a Cullinan. I could turn a Rolls to an AP. I came from Sorry Sir to come again. I came from 2 screens to HD. Tell her why you mad, for. Go on, tell her why you mad, for. No new friends, I couldn't catch a win until I cut off the loose ends. Used to whip the under in the trunk of that 210s. Just like that too. Out the speakers was max B. Couldn't say a thing about the way if you asked me. Never caught the chain, I was always trying to gain green. Riding around with my sexy love in the passenger seat. Tell her why you mad, for. Go on, tell her why you mad, for. Go ahead and just give me a reason not to change on you once I give me a million. I got checks in Hamburg, I might fly out this evening. I got checks in Moscow, I'll be back in a weekend. If it wasn't for COVID, I'd be in Europe touring. Counting cash on the couch is getting kinda boring. Must be talking about kids when you talk driving foreigns. Say I'm lying and I'm telling stories, or you can't. Tell her why you mad, for. Go and tell her why you mad, for. Silly. Soft spoken, I can hit the studio and spit till my jaw's broken. For records in the hour, I'm not bragging, it's all boasting. Turn the top 10 and ball for ball and it's all coasting. And it's easy for me, just tell me go and I'm on go, it's no reason for me. Doing features for a feature that's reaching for me. My next show's a mattress store, they been sleeping on me. See they took my style, see they been peeking on me. That's why I'm mad, for.
They try to say like, ooh, that's a cute song, that's a cute song. But let me bar for bar real quick, just to wake you up, get you out your sleep, just like, you know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, a little reminder. Set a reminder on your phone, wake up at 6 a.m. like me. Go to sleep at 12 like me. And it's still sleep gang. You gotta get your rest, stupid.
What up, though, Biz Nation? What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? It's your boy, Tay Biz, man, and I am back on the mic, man. It's been a minute. It's been a minute, and we have some catching up to do. I've been down for the last couple of weeks. I was on and off being sick, and so it really hit me about a week ago. And so now I'm 100% better. I feel better. And I'm so happy to be back on the YouTube streams. I've been trying to keep it G. I appreciate you, DD. What up, though? I appreciate you for being here today. I know I'm not gonna get a lot of people on today, but it's all good. We're gonna go ahead and do this live anyway. It's been a minute. I feel better. I feel a lot better. At one point, I was so sick. At one point, to the point where I didn't feel like talking. I didn't feel like doing anything, man. So I was really out of it. And so I'm just happy to be back on the channel. How's everybody been? I hope everybody doing all right. I know we gotta have some people come on in a minute. Some more people coming on in a minute. Chill, the mod of all mods, chill in the building saying, hey, Biz Nation. Happy to have you back, Tay Biz TV. I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate that for sure. It feels good to be back. It feels good to be back, man. Today though, if I can be honest and real today, I'm disappointed today, man. This YSL situation, what we just witnessed tonight or this evening that just passed, the hearing of Mutunk and his revocation hearing for his probation, where he is now has been ruled and sentenced to 5 years. 5 years of his probation has been revoked. So he will be in handcuffs. He will be arrested. He will be in jail, prison, for the next 5 years. And I believe he can appeal it after a year or something of that nature, I believe. But nevertheless, this is what has happened today. Judge Whitaker ruled that he would be revoked 5 years of his probation. And so I was watching it was very, very sad to watch, and very, very disappointing to watch as well. I was so upset. I was kind of like just silent for a minute, This goes to show you that if you don't do what they want you to do, and they by the state is what I mean. If you don't do what they want you to do, they have their ways to making sure that they will force you to do what they want you to do. You know what I'm saying? And he still has right. And thank you, Didi. And he still got about 22 years. Got 22 years when he can get out of probation because he has to finish the remainder of his probation as well. So that is the situation with what happened today. Very, very sad situation, man. And I'm really just like, man, I'm just like so upset. And I was really upset because again, we have to realize that the state in this particular trial, we have seen the state time and time again, whatever they want, do whatever they want, however they want to do it. They done had jury instructions. They done had Brady classes. They done had all kind of stuff. And nothing happens to them. Nothing happens to them. And here it is, a young man who had a plea deal that was coerced, that a plea deal that was probably revised, reworded, edited, omitted, all proofread, all kind of stuff 4 or 5 times over before they get to the final draft of the plea deal and this factual findings, statements, and things of that nature. And the factual findings that you put on the plea deal, they're not his words. They're your words, Ms. Love. They're your words, Ms. Love. Didi said, somebody said they think he'll only serve about 18 months of the 5 years. I doubt that very seriously. The way the ruling went, I don't know. Again, he can appeal it, but we'll see how that goes. And then an appeal can take a long time. He's gonna knowing how this goes, the way I've been seeing this, he's probably gonna do all the 5. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I literally called it before this even happened. I was doing a live one time. We was covering the whole day YSL. I probably was on this live till about 7 o'clock one time. And I remember at the end of the live, I did a deep dive into the plea deal of what Mutu's plea deal was. And right then I knew, like, oh, they did this. They coerced him. They did this so that way they can impeach him. And Miss Love was saying all the sentencing and all the special conditions. And if he doesn't do this or say this, he's going to spend 15 years on probation. But if he violates, he'll have to do 30 years. And this, I mean, all of this is just coercion. So that way he could testify against one person, young thug, one person. And now what we have all thought, like Didi said, she thought the same things as well. but we have all thought we are watching it unfold in front of our very eyes. Today, we watched that unfold. That this man probably thought he was gonna go back home. He probably thought all of that, and at the end of the day, he like looking at his lawyer like, huh? And let me say something about this lawyer, man. Let me say something about Mutu's lawyer. All right. This is the thing. It had already been proven in testimony that Miss Love had how many drafts of this plea deal and factual findings, acknowledgments and stuff? Like how many? Right? It's an ungodly amount of copies, right? And again, I believe, and this is my speculation, but I feel this in my gut. I believe that those factual finding statements, those statements were definitely reworded, revised, and reorganized, probably in different orders and categories, all this kind of stuff. I mean, the only thing that I can think of today that his lawyer said that made somewhat some sense was the fact that, hey, Your Honor, can you please just put more teeth on the probation? He got this. He didn't violate the probation directly. It was a technical violation because of the special conditions on the violation on the plea deal and things of that nature, but it wasn't a direct dismantle, disobedient, or anything like that towards the probation itself. And she took it like perjury. She looked at it like it was perjury. So at the end of the day, what happened? Whatever the judge say goes. Whatever the state says goes. There's the way it works. Whatever the state says goes. Even though knowing that one of those statements, knowing that it was reworded in a certain way that Miss Love did it to make it look like it was a gang beef when it was really just a beef between two dudes over a chick. But the way she worded it, it was gang beef. Now, if you don't read it the way I wrote it, you going back to prison. The same thing she did with Zachary. I just want to make sure that his lawyer knows that if he doesn't comply with certain things in this plea deal, that he will be subject to go back to. You see what I'm saying? So all of this is just nothing but the state exercising their 11th Amendment all day long. We need to eradicate the 11th Amendment or reform it or something. And if you want to know what the 11th Amendment is about, I'm telling you, go ahead and look up the 11th Amendment. It gives the state immunity. Prosecutors have various types of immunity. One of them is absolute. The other one is called limited immunity. Another kind of immunity that prosecutors have is called qualified immunity, which most prosecutors are under. So prosecutorial misconduct and withholding information, withholding evidence, and tampering with witnesses, all of that is under 11th Amendment. And what up, though? Bless says the state done it to send a message to me. Yep. I also feel like if the judge is going to do like that, she needs to do it to the state too. How many lies have Love told? Exactly, Bless. Exactly. Under the law. Doing it under the letter of the law. Miss Love has told multiple lies. Okay? It's not even close. Didi said his lawyer didn't even really argue for him. Exactly. This is the combination that I saw. It was a combination of the state's lack of candor, lack of honesty, the dirtiness of the state, and then his incompetence. When you put that together, the state gonna win. The state had it on paper to make it look like Sledge was lying, but Sledge was correcting Miss Love during the trial and saying, "Hey, that's your word, Miss Love. It was really a beef. I told you that before. I told you, okay, when did you tell her this? When you was talking to her directly. But she's going to word it the way she wants to word it. She's going to word it in her favor. Now she coming in the courtroom with a Shaft jacket on, with a Sheba baby, jacket on, right? Trying to look like Sheba baby in that boy. Okay. And got up and if you look at her face closely, she got upset at the fact that he only got 5 years. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see her face? She got upset that he only got the 5 years, man. For real. Cavell, oh, what up, though? What up, though, man? Yo, it's been a minute, yo. I was sick, man. I was sick. I wasn't feeling well, but we back at it, man. We back at it, man. I'm gonna try to get these numbers back up. Try to stay more consistent. Now it's been the last couple of weeks been a doozy, man. But we back. We back. We are definitely back. Didi says Duke has the right lawyer for love. You doggone right. That Ashley Merchant ain't playing. That Ashley Merchant ain't playing. You understand what I'm saying? That's real talk. No, not the Shaft jacket. That's right. The Sheba baby jacket. The Foxy Brown Sheba baby jacket is what she got on. You know what I'm saying? So he won't sit 5. He won't. Hey, I don't know, man. I appreciate you, Cavell. I appreciate you. Look, there, like Didi said, there were some people who were saying something about the fact that he might do like 18 months or something like that and then be able to get out. I'm not sure about that. I have to see how factual that is, but I know that with the revocation of the probation, I don't think that the term is going to allow anything like that without an appeal first. So in order to get an appeal, you got to at least do a year, I believe. Anyway, so it's going to be something, man. It's going to be something. He said Cavell O say 14 to 18 tops. We're going to see, man. I hope so. I mean, if he do 14 to 18 tops, right? 14 to 18 months tops. If he able to do that and they let him go and they just tack on the rest on the back end of the deal, then hey, man, look, I can't say that I would be happy about that. Honestly, I'm not happy about what happened today at all. I mean, I almost kind of took it personal. I ain't gonna lie. It's so much so to the point where I was just quiet for a minute. I was talking and I was talking to my people about it, like what I was, how I'm thinking. And all of a sudden I just was looking and watching the video, like seeing him in cuffs. I'm like, all because he didn't say what y'all wanted him to say. That's the special condition. Say what we tell you. Nah, man. And one of the things in that deal is he did waive his Fifth Amendment right. Okay. So again, this is something that we really got to take heed and look at, man, when it comes to these different things. All I'm going to say is this, and this is from me from experience. Okay. When you taking a plea deal and they talking about probation and doing all that kind of stuff, read every single letter, word, phrase, the fine print. I don't care what it is. I don't care what you're going on probation for. It could be DUI. It could be a misdemeanor charge or assault and battery charge, whatever. I don't care. Read every single letter and word on these plea deals. I'm telling you, they have words in there that will trip you up if you're not careful, if you're not well studied, if you're not well learned. They do have these type of things, man. So please be careful. You know what I'm saying? I don't want anybody to be in trouble at all. That's not what I'm saying this for. I'm just saying, if you ever in a situation where you get to that point, I'm telling you, be as careful as possible. You feel me? Steph JK, the builder, one of the moms saying, yay, what's up, family? We are here. We are here, Steph. Steph, we in the building. Martinez Reyes, Neil, what up, though? Saying hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Didi said, and the sad part is this trial might still be going on. Exactly. By the time Mutu get out, it'll still be going on, man. It'll still be going on. So, man, I just been upset today. Towards the end, you know what I'm saying? We heard a lot of you saw what the state tried to do today, right? They tried to replace Dennis's testimony that got excluded yesterday, eradicated yesterday. They tried to replace it with what's her name? What was that lady name today? The auntie that was a gang expert. What was her name? I can't remember her name. I can't remember her name. Somebody help me out. But the lady that was testifying today, gang expert for 30-something years or whatever, supposed to be I believe the replacement for Dennis. And then Miss Hilton did the same timeline whiteboard thing that Miss Love did. Oh my God. I was like, yo, y'all have nothing today. Y'all have absolutely nothing today. This is crazy. When he was reading the plea deal in court and Love had him fix the spelling error, I was wondering why his lawyer didn't catch it. Exactly. This lawyer, man, this lawyer that Muntu had, to me, was lazy. Lazy lawyer. Okay. Very lazy. Very, very lazy. Did not want to put the work in. Underwood. Thank you, D. Underwood. That was the lady name. Underwood. But yeah, that lawyer was lazy, man. You got to read everything, dog. I'm paying you as a witness lawyer. You know what I'm saying? This is the only reason what I'm paying you for. I'm not paying you. We're not on trial. You know what I'm saying? So I'm giving you the fair market value for your services, and you got to work, dog. You got to work for me, man. You can't be no lazy. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You cannot do that, man. So, but once again, we are back. We are here in the building. What up, Doe? KP. I'm gonna call you KP, man. What up, Doe? What up, Doe? I appreciate you coming on through. We are back, man. We're gonna talk about another case, though. You know, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I told Miss T2, Miss 2 T's, I believe Miss 2 T's. And shout out to her. I hope she comes over here. But because she been trying to make sure I was good too, and encouraging me to get better. But I told her in Cat's chat, I was like, look, man, you know, it's sad that the YSL trial had that video footage of the kid that was admitted into evidence. And I was like, once that happened, because she was telling me about how, you know, she's kind of like, this trial, is she kind of like done with it? And I was like, I was low-key done with it when that happened. When that child on the video that was throwing up the signs or whatever and all that, when they admitted that into evidence, I was like, you know what? Now they messing with now the kids is in this. Like, you know what? I'm cool, man. I'm gonna lay off on YSL for me. I'm gonna look at it from the shadows. When it's days that's not really that important, I'm not even gonna really get into it like that, whatever. But distinctive days, yes, because I'm still interested in the outcome of this trial, because it's the longest trial in Georgia history. However, yeah, I'm like, you know what? The state's super dirty, man. You don't involve kids in something like this. You know what I'm saying? And so, and you don't involve kids even if you got beef. You know what I'm saying? If you got beef with somebody, man, that's between you and that person. Getting your family, getting your cousins, getting your uncles, and doing all that kind of stuff. It's just ridiculous. It turns into something that don't need to be. You feel me? And so, you know, I'm from the I'm an 80s baby, man. I'm from the part where, you know, we get the hand, we throw hands. You know what I'm saying? It did turn into knives and guns as I got older, but I do remember throwing them hands, and so like that was what it was about back then. But you know, now it's just about killing and destroying people, man. So again, this is when it comes to the trial, I was like, you know what? I think when I saw that, I was like, okay, they put the little boy in there as evidence about, again, trying to establish this foundation that YSL is a gang. And if gang is their rivalry or whatever, just trying to build that foundation, which you already laid 100 days ago, 100 days into the trial ago, it's just ridiculous. So I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm kind of like, I'm going to fall back a little bit. And then my schedule started changing, which made it even better. I was like, you know what? I could just watch from the shadows right now during the day and be good with it. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, man, we are here. We are back, man. Let's get it cracking. Let's get it popping, man. Let's go ahead and get the building shaking. Let's go ahead and get this thing rattling. We about to get it. we are going to talk about today, the thumbnail, as you can see, I hope you saw that today. The Sheriff Mickey Stines. Sheriff Mickey Stines Nim said, were you in any video? You might be in the next week. Hey, I might be. Look, they already demonetized your boy, right? They already demonetized your boy. You feel me? They already demonetized me because I did a little Diddy compilation video and I got rid of it. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess I wasn't in compliance with the community guidelines on how to, produce content. I guess all this content on my channel, and then that's the video that goes crazy. Okay, I mean, demonetize. They ain't strike the video; they struck the entire channel. Okay, like I'm like, okay, YouTube. All right, I see how y'all do. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, see, I got a headache from the day. I feel you, Kay. I feel you, dog. I ain't gonna lie, I did. After seeing that hearing, I'm like, all right, man. Let me go ahead and get ready for the live today, man, so I can be with the people, man. You know what I'm saying? For real. But we're gonna go ahead and get into this video, man. So Sheriff Mickey Stines, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and get into this real quick because this is a very, very interesting case. All right, very, very interesting case. I think that this case right here is like, I don't even know, man. I just think it's one of them cases that's like, man, it's hard to decipher what's what on this case. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and look at it real quick. Let's get into this real quick. All right. So we have video of Kentucky judge being shot to death shown at a hearing for ex-sheriff charged in his murder. Okay, so the hearing was like couple of weeks ago. I know this is fairly new still. All right. But Sean Mickey Stines, former sheriff of Letcher County, who was accused of fatally shooting District Judge Kevin Mullins on September 19th, Stines allegedly entered Mullins' chambers at the Letcher County Courthouse in Whitesburg and opened fire. All right. They opened fire. All right. So I believe it said that he shot him like 8 times. Right. And I'm like, dang, he shot the man 8 times. And so I want to get into this because one of the things that we discovered is there was legit reason why. All right. Legit reason why this man confronted this judge. Now, I have been reading over this case. I've been studying this for quite some time since it happened. And so the day that, and this is according to the reports, the day that Stines put down the judge, they went out for lunch that day, earlier that day. Okay. They went out for lunch earlier that day. They were very close. The judge knew Kevin Mullins. He knew the family of Mickey Stines and everything. And so shout out to Miss Two T's. I just talked about you. Appreciate you. So I had to go and come on over here. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming through. I know the numbers is low, y'all. It's just a little quiet family day. This is my first time back in a couple of weeks, man. So I know I'm gonna have to get back into it, get back into the algorithm. But it's all love. It's all good. So Mickey Stines, he had lunch with Judge Kevin Mullins that day before he went into chambers. And there was some exchanging of a phone situation that went on in the chambers. And once the phone was exchanged and the sheriff confirmed some information that he already was suspecting, that's when he opened fire on the judge. Okay. Now I'm telling you, I'm looking at this now. This sheriff, let me just give you the tea on this. This sheriff has been found or has been charged with first-degree murder. Now, we all know that first-degree murder is premeditated, right? That's the premise. He has pled not guilty to that charge. Okay. He has pled not guilty. And so I am very, very interested in how this case is going to go on when this trial comes. But what we're going to do is we're going to review the case. We're going to review the case here, and we're going to look at the actual preliminary hearing of the case. Because I want you all to be able to, and this is a trigger warning, that there is going to be a video, of the sheriff inside of the judge's chambers. However, there is no sound. Okay. And I may skip through it. After Mickey Stines gunned down the judge, he stayed there to get arrested. He knew he was going to get arrested. Now, one of the things that I was curious about is like, why is there a camera in the judge's chambers? Normally, cameras are not permitted in judges' chambers, right? They're normally not permitted in judges' chambers. Why was there a video, a camera in his chambers? Based on the research that I found out and based on the things that I've read in the reports, there was an incident where there was a previous deputy sheriff of the same county who used the chambers of that particular judge to have conjugal and sexual visits and sexual escapades in those chambers, unbeknownst to the judge, allegedly. Okay. And this was, listen, man, this was absolutely insane. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's the reason why there was a video camera in the judge's chambers, because his chambers was used for some nasty time. Now, with that being said, even though they actually that deputy is in jail as we speak, this happened last year. So as we speak, he is in jail, but the camera is still there. The camera is still there. Okay, this is about to get serious. Okay, this is about to get real. This is about to get great. Go ahead, hit the like button, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Go ahead, hit the like button. Go ahead, share this live. We're about to get into it. Okay. Neil says, so they out of camera because they wanted the next on video. Well, apparently, apparently that might be so. But again, this is nasty time work that's going on right here. You're not late, Tracy. You good. Tracy talks. Oh, I'm late, y'all. Forgive me. No. There's no forgiveness that's needed because you are right on time. We haven't even gotten to the meat and potatoes yet. All right, we're not even in there yet. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You good. You good. All right. So we're about to get into this. And I am so curious about your reactions to this. This is going to be something else. And there's a discovery that took place on this particular issue that we're going to discover. And then we're going to get deeper into the preliminary hearing once we get to a portion of this particular report. Okay. So again, this is the sheriff who shot the judge in chambers in Letcher County in Kentucky. That's in Kentucky, where he had lunch again. He had lunch with the judge. They broke bread. Okay. They broke bread. All right. So he broke bread with the judge prior to this shooting. Okay. And so we're about to unpack it and uncover it. I think this is a very interesting case. The preliminary hearing was, I believe, October the 1st or something like that. So I'm telling you, the trial hasn't started yet. I'm definitely going to be looking into this for sure. For sure. I'm that curious about this case. All right. So let's get into it. Y'all ready? Put a 1 in the chat if you're ready. If you hit the like button, put a 1 in the chat if you hit the like button. No, the sheriff Sean Mickey Stines. Okay. Sean Mickey Stines. He is the one that shot the judge in chambers. All right. Shot the judge in chambers, Miss Two T's. Okay. This is what we talk about. The deputy sheriff, The deputy county sheriff from last year was using the judge's chambers to get his freak on. Okay, that's what that was. All right. All right. So that's what we getting into. Okay. Here we go. I'm about to stop talking. We about to make it happen. Let's go.
We learned a lot. We learned a lot today about the shooting of Judge Kevin Mullins. First of all, what became very clear is that the judge knew he was going to die moments before he died. That was crystal clear. He was apparently unarmed. The sheriff had a gun, and it was pointed right at the judge, and he started firing. The judge knew what was going to happen. He knew how it was going to end. The reason we know is there is shocking video of what happened inside the chambers. I'm going to show it to you in just a few moments.
Now, just to be clear, what I'm playing right now is it's like on this is the same day of the preliminary hearing. Okay. So it's going to be bits and pieces of the preliminary hearing that you're going to see. And you're also going to see some discovery that took place as well. So we about to get it in. All right. We about to get it in. Go. I'm telling you, share this. We're about to get it in. Let's go.
But the video is rolling. There's no audio. It's just video. But you can see everything that transpired inside the judge's chambers. Now, it is kind of unusual to have a video camera in the judge's chambers, but other things have happened in that chambers that likely required it. Sexual assaults, not by the judge, by one of the sheriff's deputies inside those chambers. My guess is that's why they have a camera now. Probably didn't have it beforehand, but they have it now.
Yep.
And it recorded everything that happened, which brings us back every time we do the story. Why? Why would a sheriff, knowing that as soon as he does this, he's going to be locked up, knowing as soon as he does this, he'll be charged with murder, knowing as soon as he does this, he's facing the rest of his life in a potential death penalty sentence when he does this?
Come on now.
He knows the law. So what we learned today is that those rumors that have been circulating on social media and all over Letcher County have some basis of truth to them. In answering the question why, it appears that moments before the shooting, the sheriff's daughter, her name, her phone number became part of all of this.
Do you hear what that man just said? Do you hear what that man just said? The sheriff's underage teen, they say teen daughter, underage. Okay, underage daughter showed up in the judge's phone. In the judge's phone. The name of the phone number was saved under the name police. Okay. Now I'm now I'm just give you some extra info on that. That's something that I discovered. All right. I don't even think he said it yet, but he might. I don't know. But I discovered that this man's underage daughter was, and this is the reason why in the video you will see a portion where nothing is happening and phones are being exchanged and things of that nature. Okay. And then you start seeing pow, pow, pow. I believe, KP, thank you. I believe that's the age, like 17, 16. I've seen 15 or 16 is what I saw, but 17 in that area sounds about right. I think that's right. So this is what's going on. It's the fact that this judge had some type of, for whatever reason, had this man's daughter in his phone saved under the name police, and there had been some type of interactions on the phone to the daughter that the sheriff discovered. Let's go ahead and continue. But this is how right off rip. Okay, let's get it.
So it appears much clearer today that answering the why of this is somehow, some way connected to the sheriff's teenaged daughter.
Yep.
Now, I told you I was going to show you the video. I'm warning you, it's real. This is what happened.
Trigger warning.
This is the prosecution's case, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't last long, but you can see the sheriff pointing the gun. You can see the judge in the corner trying to take cover, but it just doesn't happen. And then the sheriff exits. Once again, you can see right in that moment, the judge knows what's about to happen. Now we don't hear the conversation, so we don't know what's being said, but you can tell by the body language. You can tell by what we see in the video. So today was a preliminary hearing. Because he hasn't been indicted, within 10 days of arrest, he's the state, or the Commonwealth in this case, is required to put some evidence in front of a judge to prove that there's probable cause to send this case up to the circuit court. So that video
Now, that's very interesting as well, because when it comes to the circuit court, normally normally this case would be in the district, but since he unalived the judge, there's a different judge from other that rules in other counties that was the judge for the preliminary hearing. Okay, so they may have to bump this up because the judge who normally would take on things of this nature, he unalived them. All right, so that's another thing in this case that's very interesting. You know, it's similar to like how they have the YSL trial where, yeah, it's Fulton County, but they're housing Thug in another county jail. I believe DeKalb, if I'm not mistaken. So he's not in Wright Street. He is, somewhere else. So just saying, like, this is wild how this even has taken place. But let's go.
pretty much is the prosecution's case. Like, that was the sheriff. Here's the video of what he did. And we have evidence that the judge is dead.
Thank you.
Requiring probable cause for the elements of the crime. Very quick. What was more, I'm not going to say interesting, but what was more probative of trying to unwrap and uncover why this is happening came through the cross-examination of Clayton Stamper, who is a detective from the Kentucky State Police. He is the case agent. He is the one who is leading this investigation. Take a listen to some of these details wrapped around the why of it and what the rest of the story is. Take a listen.
It's my understanding that video lasted much longer, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And have you had an opportunity to review the video of the prior incident?
I have.
And can you describe for us what happened immediately prior to the clip that we saw?
Sheriff Stines uses his telephone to make some phone calls. He then borrows Judge Mullin's cell phone and appears to make a call on that. And that led to what you just saw.
Okay. So it's my understanding there were some people who were having a meeting with Judge Mullins prior to the sheriff's entry into the chambers. Is that correct?
Yes.
Have you identified those witnesses?
I don't know the names of them. There's about approximately 4 people in there. Then Sheriff Stines enters the judge's chambers and everybody else clears out.
Once the 4 people that were inside, that we don't know their names, once these 4 people had left the chambers, were they in an area adjacent where they could hear anything that was going on?
Yes, I believe some of them did remain in the next room.
Okay. And what did they tell us?
Do what?
What did they hear?
I've not been part. I wasn't part of those interviews.
Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, you're prepared for a preliminary hearing on a murder, and there are witnesses in an adjacent room.
They heard gunshots.
Can I put my question, please?
Yeah, please, that's the question.
Thank you, Officer. So you are investigating a murder and testifying in a preliminary hearing, and there are witnesses who may have overheard what preceded this edited clip, yet you can't tell us today anything that they said?
I've not personally listened to those interviews. I've talked to the other officers that did those interviews.
Fair enough. And I mean, we're here at a preliminary hearing, as you know, that you can testify to hearsay. I'm asking you what they said.
They heard gunshots.
Okay. Was there any statements that they overheard?
No.
Were there raised voices?
There, one person stated that she didn't recognize him as being Judge Mullin's voice, but heard somebody say, "Help, help."
Of course, your investigation, did you ascertain that prior in the day, there had been a lunch meeting between Sheriff Stines and Judge Mullins?
There was.
Pardon?
There was.
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't hear your response. I wasn't being trite. So where did this take place?
It's a restaurant called Streetside. It's just down the street from the courthouse.
Okay. And it's my understanding there were a couple of other people who attended the luncheon?
There were several, yes.
Okay. And at some point after that, they wrapped up lunch and left, obviously, and went back to the courthouse. Are you aware of anything so far in your investigation that would tell us there was any issues at lunch between Judge Mullins and Sheriff Stines?
No.
Okay. But someone on behalf of the KSB has spoken to those witnesses?
Yes, they've all been interviewed.
And there was nothing unusual that had arisen during that luncheon?
I was told that the judge made a statement to Mickey about, do we need to meet private in my chambers? That's all I was told.
Do you know the context of
what
the conversation was before that they would need to discuss in chambers?
I do not.
So it's my understanding that in the larger portion of the video that we haven't had access to, that there is a point when Sheriff Stines asked for to see the telephone of Judge Mullins.
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And I would presume that you and the other officers you mentioned when you secured the scene that you secured those phones as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
And have you reviewed both of those phones?
They're currently at the forensic lab at this time being downloaded. I have had discussions with the people at the lab regarding the downloads.
Okay. All right. So we got some action on them phones. Those phones are are in forensics. Information is being downloaded. I'm pretty sure if they're going to do this correctly, that it's going to be metadata. Okay. Fulton County, there's going to be metadata to confirm certain things. All right. I'm pretty sure it will. So, but this is a good thing right here that's going on because, again, those phones were the main piece of motivation as to why Stines did what he did.
On your conversations with the officers, are you aware of any recent content that was up and could have been relevant at the time of their discussion?
I was told that Sheriff Stines had tried to call his daughter, and he had tried to call his daughter from the judge's phone also.
Have officers confirmed that the sheriff's daughter's phone number was on Judge Mullins' phone?
Yes. Okay. So, yes.
So that number had been called from Judge Mullins' phone.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
There's your case. There's what this is going to be all about.
Exactly. It's going to be all about those phones. It's going to be all about what was on those phones. All right. That's what it's going to be about for sure. It ain't going to be about nothing else because what's on them phones is the main piece of motivation for what happened. All right. No, Miss Two T's. No, it happened in Kentucky. This is in Kentucky. This is Letcher County. I'm sorry, Counter. This is Letcher County. This is in Kentucky, okay? And that he shot the district court judge of the county. So this is the reason why the judge that's ruling in the preliminary hearing he's from a different county. I think he's a judge in other counties as well in that area. And so he's the one that's ruling over the preliminary hearing, overseeing it. But yeah, it's in Kentucky. All right. So I know, right? Look. Steph said, I can't wait till we get exactly. I want to know what's on them phones. I'm telling you, I'm going to stay on this because this is a very interesting case. He stopped being Sheriff Stines for that hot second. He became a father that was very disturbed about something. So this right here it got to be on the level that ain't cool. All right. So because he knew, and I think again, first degree murder in Kentucky or in that area is punishable until to the death penalty. So he knew he knew that this was going to go down like that. This is why he's pleading not guilty to first degree. He's not denying the fact whether he shot him and unalived him or not. He's not denying that. He's saying, yo, it wasn't premeditated. It wasn't premeditated. and now he has to prove, well, yeah, he would have the state has to prove beyond reasonable doubt that he did this to the first degree. And he has to disprove that. He has to show evidence of why this was not first degree murder. So it's possible. I was just about to say this, Mr. T. It's possible he snapped. Again, they went out to lunch that day before he got to Chambers. They was breaking bread. It's quite possible he was just going in there to confront him about something that was a little fishy that he found out at his crib privately with his family. And he's like, well, I'll just talk to Judge Kevin Mullins. Me and him is real. I mean, I talk to him. And maybe it's not what I think it is. It's easy to assume that. And then when he saw evidence of something, he started calling the phone numbers. He started looking into the phone. All of a sudden, it's like, dude, you got my daughter. You feel me? So he got the phone from the judge, you see? So he was on his own phone at first. Okay? Again, this is a police officer, so he's all about the evidence. He got his own phone first. I'm pretty sure he called his daughter and that judge's phone rung. I'm pretty sure. If I was a betting man, I'm pretty sure that this man used his own phone, called his daughter, called his daughter. How would I say this? Called his daughter's phone or called the judge's phone, or called his daughter and said something, and then he probably got the phone from the judge and dialed his daughter's number in there and saw that it came up police. Okay, it came up police in the phone. It's quite possible. It's quite possible he used his phone, dialed his daughter's phone number in the judge's phone. Excuse me, I'm getting excited here. Dialed the judge's phone, the number in the judge's phone, and saw that the daughter's name or the daughter's number came up under a different name. That's quite possible. That's quite possible. So if he did snap, he could have snapped because he would have never thought that was ever the case. And on top of that, why would you? This is a good question. I don't believe he requested lunch. I believe they're close. The sheriff and the judge are cool. The judge's been around his family. He's been around his house. It's already been reported that they had a good relationship. They didn't have a bad relationship at all. He requested to talk to the judge after lunch, and the judge suggested, hey, you want to go in my chambers and talk about it? And he was like, okay, yeah, we can go in your chambers and talk about it. So it's so many different things that have taken place to suggest that maybe, just maybe, there was a snap that happened. There was a snap that happened. Obviously, y'all close. The man's daughter number is in your phone, saved under a different name. So y'all cool. Y'all know each other wives. If the judge married, y'all know everything. Okay, see Steph, you already in the Kool-Aid. Steph is in that Kool-Aid. Everybody put Steph in the chat. I heard the judge had been helping his wife file for divorce from him and cozying up to his family. Okay, allegedly, we're gonna say allegedly for the sake of community guidelines. We're gonna say allegedly. All right. This is where we're headed. This is why I said there was a portion of the arrest where he was like, man, he's trying to take my wife and daughter. He yelled that out loud while he was getting arrested. He's like, man, he's trying to take my wife and daughter. Some reports said he used the word kidnap. I don't believe that. Well, maybe he did say kidnap. And his idea of kidnap is literal, okay? Like trying to take without permission, right? Abduct. He said that while he was being arrested in that courtroom, in that courthouse. He said, man, they're trying to take my wife and daughter. So this is not far-fetched, Steph. Thank you. This is what I believe. He got his phone. He saw his daughter's number. It's hard to remember numbers nowadays. That's why we got contact lists. He went to the judge's phone, say, hey, man, let me see your phone real quick. I got a question for you, man. Have you been talking to my daughter? Let me see your phone. Let me see your phone. And then he grabbed his phone. He dialed his daughter's number in there. And he saw the name police and snapped. That is possible. Now, if you're a defense attorney and you're trying to disprove first-degree murder, then you have to prove that there was some snapping going on. You got to show at least that this man snapped. That has to be your defense at some point, because first degree is premeditated. And it looks premeditated. This is why I like the question that Treese said. Tracy talks. Where you at? Where was that? Where is it? I can't find the comment right now. But there it is. My question is, why did he request lunch? Why that right there looks premeditated. It's almost like I'm gonna let this man eat his last meal before I take him out. You feel me? That's like, this is like, let's go to lunch. This is about to be your last meal, dog. That's what that felt like to me too. You see what I'm saying? But the idea that he knew something before he knew it, that's the part where they have to unpack that and say, you know what? He did not know anything about the judge and his daughter. Everything was being done behind his back. He found it out through the grapevine, blah, 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 whatever. He did his own kind of investigation in it. All of a sudden, boom, they in chambers and he snapped. They got to make sure it's not first degree. If it's first degree, death penalty, off rip. This was good right here. This was good. I like that. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into the preliminary hearing. So how did the daughter get in trouble and they found something in the daughter's phone? Well, no. The point is that they found the daughter's name in the judge's phone. The daughter's number in the judge's phone saved under a different name. The judge had the daughter's number in his phone. Again, if I'm a betting man, that man dialed his daughter's number in that judge's phone. It was saved under police. Okay. Matter of fact, before we get to the preliminary hearing, let's go back. Let's go back. Let's finish this part up. Let's get more clarity. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's do it.
Why is the sheriff's daughter's phone number on the judge's phone? And what exactly is the nature of that connection? And and it seems to somehow be related to the sheriff's daughter, the factor that made the sheriff do what he did. Like, he took these actions for a reason, knowing what the result would be. Big day in Kentucky. Court TV producer Cody Thomas on the case tonight, joining us live from West Liberty, Kentucky, where this was taking place, not in Letcher County. All right, Cody, let's start first. You were inside there. Describe what's happening in that courtroom. I'm interested in who was there, how they were reacting, interaction. Are the families there? Set the scene for us.
Well, of course, Vinny, the families of both parties were there. Judge Mullins' family sitting right behind the prosecution table. And of course, once that video played, that was the biggest moment of the day, just seeing, the point of death once Stines pulled that gun out and shot at Judge Mullins. And I can tell you, Vinny, as soon as that video played and the family saw that, there was maybe a quiet hush for 1 to 2 seconds before his family just burst into uncontrollable tears. There was lots of hugs, lots of consoling. And I want to let you listen to some of that raw emotion right now so you can fully get a grasp of that moment when they saw that video.
Okay, we don't have to get that. The raw emotion part, we can pass that. I don't want to trigger no one. All right. We had enough triggering with Mook Tunk today. All right. I ain't trying to overload triggers on folks. All right. Let's go.
And it's that detriment in those yelps and wails that came out of them. And of course, that wasn't the only thing that was talked about. You just mentioned it. The phones, the Stines' daughter's phone number in Judge Mullins' phone. That was a huge development in this hearing today, huge development in this case. There was no official word on the record about, again, the nature of that relationship, whether it was inappropriate or not. But again, a crucial piece of evidence for the state coming on the record to say that that number was in his phone.
Well, let me ask you, Cody, you mentioned the families. Does that mean that the sheriff's daughter also inside that courtroom today?
There were a bunch of people speckled on his side. There's more people on Judge Mullins' side, less people on the sheriff's side, but I did see two teenage girls sitting over there that did resemble his daughters, and they kind of sat there stoic, as did the sheriff when the video played. He didn't really have any emotion. He kind of just looked at it. He didn't look away. He just accepted it for what it was, and his family didn't hear any cries from that side of the courtroom, but I did see them holding each other, just kind of, again, accepting what was being shown to the court, as gruesome as it was.
What a moment. I can't imagine being that family. You're watching your loved one being executed, defenseless, cowering in the corner, trying to get some protection, trying to just get away, and unsuccessfully, obviously. Okay, let's get into some more of what we learned today. How about the sheriff? I know he knows he has the right to remain silent. He's learned that many, many, many years ago. What did he say after he was arrested, after he surrendered himself?
Of course, we saw the lead investigator, Clayton Stamper, on the stand testifying today, giving all that evidence that came out of his hearing. He said that once Stines was arrested, they had a conversation, and Stines made a statement to him, asking him to just treat him fairly. But he also mentioned something about someone threatening to kidnap his wife and kids, which is interesting.
What did I tell you? What? When grass turned to cheese, man, start hustling crackers. What did I tell you? That man said something about kidnap. Someone trying to kidnap his wife, man, and his kid.
Listen to this.
He was in custody when I arrived at the courthouse that afternoon. He was calm. He was kind of afraid that basically all he said was, treat me fair. That's basically the comments he made. So I wasn't present, but
so, Vinny, of course, as you know, we still don't know an official on-the-record motive as to why Stines would have shot Judge Mullins, but
ain't that crazy, man? That is insane. She said, when grass, what? I said, when grass turned to cheese, start hustling crackers. That's the little joke. But nah, so that's what he said when he was being arrested. He was like, man, he's trying to kidnap my wife and family and my daughter.
But after hearing the statement he made to the lead investigator, that could insinuate some sort of speculative motive in this case.
I'm looking at those. I wrote it down. They're trying to kidnap my wife and kid. We've been talking about this being personal. It doesn't get more personal than that. This is a man. This is his family, his wife and his daughter. That's it. You go on his Facebook page. That's what you see. You see pictures of the sheriff and his daughter and the sheriff and his wife and the daughter. That's what you see. That's his life. But this kidnapping is throwing me for a loop. Was there any other reaction from the courthouse from anyone about this kidnapping? Like maybe other journalists covering it? Did anyone see this coming?
No one saw it coming. There wasn't any audible reaction as it was when the video was shown of the shooting, but you kind of saw some heads turning, just kind of as we're reacting. What's going on? Where did that come from? That was nothing that we'd heard about, not even in the rumor mill going around Letcher County. So it definitely threw everybody for a loop, and it definitely came out of nowhere once that was said on the witness stand by the lead investigator.
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't part of the rumors that were floating around for weeks here. All right, how about the lunch meeting? To me, this is significant. There's something happening just before they get back to chambers. They're going to lunch. That seems so innocent. What did we learn about the lunch meeting?
So, of course, Vinny, as the lead investigator said, they all went to lunch, multiple people, not just Stines and Mullins. And somewhere in that lunch, Mullins looked at Stines and said, as the investigator said, do we need to talk in private? And that's when they walked back to the courthouse. They went to the chambers, and everything following ensued. But the investigator did say something about another employee that worked in the office with Stines and Mullins, and they talked about collecting her phone and going through it because it allegedly had a text conversation about what was said during that lunch. Take a listen to this.
There was one other phone that's currently being examined, and the basic reason it was seized was there was a text conversation between Sheriff Stines and some of his employees with the sheriff's office.
Okay, and that was an additional phone Sheriff Stines.
It was a phone of, I guess she's the, I don't know what her title is, but she's employed. She's not sworn. She's employed by the Letcher County Sheriff's Office. And she voluntarily gave her phone to the person that interviewed her.
Okay, and just out of curiosity, what, could you explain why that was relevant or germane to your investigation?
I didn't conduct that interview, but it was, I guess it was regarding the dinner at Streetside and things that led up to the shooting. But I don't have those results either, so I don't know exactly what was said.
And Vinny has just heard right there, no word on exactly what was said in those text conversations, but I'm sure that will be a bombshell piece of evidence once this case goes to trial. And ultimately, the judge did find probable cause, so it will be moving from district to circuit court. So a jury trial will be on the way.
Wow, a lot of developments and still some unanswered questions tonight, things that need to be clarified, but we've learned a lot more. Cody on the case in Kentucky. Cody Thomas, thank you so much. All right, when we come back, we'll bring in all this new information we've learned, plus coming up next hour. Tonight on Vinny Politan.
Let's do this. Let's do this. What y'all thinking so far, man? What y'all thinking so far? Legit. What y'all thinking so far? Put a 1 in the chat if you think he snapped. And put a 2 in the chat if you think it's premeditated. Put a 2 in the chat. This is wild. This is a wild case, man. This is wild. If you think he snapped, put a 1 in the chat. If you think he's premeditated, put a 2 in the chat. Let me go here. Let me see. D says something very convincing here. Said, I'm going to guess the judge was whispering in the wife's ear, and there's no quicker way to a woman's heart than through her child. That is that is 100% real. Yes, it is. That is a fact. Great comment. A lot of y'all saying, everybody's saying snap. Everybody's saying he snapped. Snap, put a 1. Yeah. Listen, I think they drove him crazy. He saw that number and lost it. KP said 1. Look at this. Tracy like wow. I know. I feel you. I feel that wow for real. Laura said, appreciate you, Laura, for stopping by, saying I may be controversial, but I think three, a mix of both. Hey, that's not far-fetched either. The thing is, he had inclination, suspicion, he had a assumption, he had all these things going on, and he know. And this is where his officer brain, I think his officer brain kicked in and said, man, I need hardcore evidence. You feel me? And then he got it. Mullins, again, we just saw it. Mullins offered, hey, do we need to meet privately? Okay. Man, let me tell you something. This is absolutely this mixture right here of both premeditated and snapping is not far-fetched. And see, that's something that the prosecution can really do, is put a mix on it if they had to. Chill even said, I think he had a suspicion and got confirmation when he saw the number, then he snapped. That's all that Paul talking about. So that's definitely possible. Definitely possible. Definitely possible. Look at Steph showing love to the ladies, saying all the ladies in here are gorgeous. Absolutely. Shout out to the gorgeous ladies in the chat. I definitely appreciate it. Fellas, let's go ahead and put some love in the chat for the ladies in the chat, man. If y'all got some blue hearts, man, throw some blue hearts up in that boy. You know what I mean? Throw some blue hearts in that boy. You know what I mean? Let's go. Let's go ahead and finish this out. Let's go ahead and see what's going on here. We're going to get this expert analysis on this whole thing. Shout out. Hey, if y'all feeling this right here, man, shout out to the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you're enjoying yourself so far, man. Put a 1 in the chat if you're enjoying yourself so far. This right here, again, I had to bring this case to the front of the congregation. We got to see, we got the names must be named. Okay, the names must be named. All right. We got to get it in. All right. We got to figure these things out. Okay. For sure. For sure. Let's go.
Sheriff Stines uses his telephone to make some phone calls. He then borrows Judge Mullin's cell phone and appears to make a call on that.
Okay. So Stines made some phone calls. Okay. And then to the judge's phone, make some phone calls. All right, let's go.
And that led to what you just saw.
What was on the phone? We've been saying this from the beginning in the case of the judge who was shot in his own chambers by the sheriff, a man he knows, that's reportedly a friend of his. They just had lunch together. But it's about the phone and what was on the phone, and that became much clearer today. Take a listen to the detective, the lead detective from the Kentucky State Police, here on cross-examination, revealing some facts that are pretty much connected to the rumors that have been circulating.
I was told that Sheriff Stines had tried to call his daughter, and he tried to call his daughter from the judge's phone also.
So, have you obtained the phone records from Judge Mullins' phone?
I don't have those in my possession yet, no.
Have you issued a search warrant for them?
Yes.
Okay. And have officers confirmed that the sheriff's daughter's phone number was on Judge Mullins' phone?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
So that number had been called from Judge Mullins' phone?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
This is so important. This case is not a whodunit.
The case is not a whodunit. It's a he did it. Hold on. Let's go back. Let's go back. This is key info, man.
Phone number was on Judge Mullins' phone?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
So that number had been called from Judge Mullins' phone?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
This is so important. This case is not a whodunit. There's a video. Everyone has seen it. The defense is not even saying, well, that's not him. That was somebody else. They didn't even make that argument in court. It's clear. The sheriff shot the judge. The whole case is about why. Let's bring in tonight's think tank. Joining me, trial attorney and fellow of the American College of Trial Lawyers, Ann Bremner. Also with us, trial attorney, former police lieutenant Rick King. And finally, criminal defense attorney, former federal prosecutor Michael Sterling. Great to see everyone tonight. Ann Bremner, let's dive.
All right, before they deep dive into their thing, right? Because we're gonna get into this. Before they deep dive into it, this is the expert analysis, the panel that we're gonna watch in a minute. What do you guys think? Okay, if the defense is not denying that he did it or not, they're not even gonna touch that, right? It's on video. It's on video. Is it first degree murder? Okay. Or is it murder to the second degree? Or is it murder is it manslaughter? Or is it voluntary manslaughter? What is it? If you could put a name, if you could put a name on it, what would it be? What would it be? What would we give it? Hold on, let me see something real quick. Let me see something real quick, because this is very interesting. They're not denying that he did anything. They're saying, hey, we don't think it's first degree murder. See, voluntary manslaughter is the intentional killing of a person in the heat of passion or in response to adequate provocation without premeditation or malice aforethought. Hold on. Maybe we just discovered what they might go for. Okay. Because again, first degree murder is automatically death penalty. Okay. We talking about straight up passion, in the heat of passion. You're responding to adequate provocation without premeditation or malice aforethought. It's one of the two main types of manslaughter. The other one is being, of course, involuntary manslaughter. So heat of passion, let's break it down. What's heat of passion? Heat of passion. According to the law, the offender acted in a state of emotional or mental disturbance that prevented them from controlling their emotions. I have a very, very intelligent chat. Didn't y'all say the man snapped? Didn't y'all say the man snapped? Very intelligent chat. Okay, that's heat of passion. What about provocation? The provocation must be one that would cause a reasonable person to lose control. Now, is he a reasonable person? He has to be a reasonable person. He is the sheriff of the county. He was the sheriff of the county. All right. Now, I know I watched the video. He was cold. Absolutely. Absolutely. He was cold. Now, the thing about it is this. Even in the courtroom, when I'm looking at his face, I'm looking at a guy who lost it. I'm looking at a guy who lost it for sure. I'm looking at a guy who lost it for sure. Okay. Let me tell you something. You have a child. You got a grown, you have a 15-year-old girl in your household, and there's a 27-year-old man that you're a coworker with, that you became cool with, and he has your daughter's phone number in his phone. And then you go in her phone and you see him sending her pictures that are inappropriate. I'm not going to get graphic because y'all can use y'all imagination. You mean to tell me in the heat of that? Now, you had suspicions that it was going on, but you got actual confirmation right in front of you. You mean to tell me there's no hint of you going to snap or do a little snafu? Do a little snafu? He put two and two together. Yeah. He knew something. He had suspicion of it. But the question is, did he do this without premeditation or malice or forethought? Or was he actually digging for information to see if this was true or not? Then this is the statement here. Again, kidnapping the family statement. Come on now. The man obviously is losing it a little bit. I'm just saying, this is no condoning of anything. What we're saying is, what are we going to call it? If we are the defense, what are we going to call it? What are we going to call it? He knew what beforehand? What did he know exactly? What do he know exactly? What do he know? Is it suspicion or is it actual confirmation knowledge? What does he actually know? Because let me ask y'all a question. See, this is interesting right here, right now. Because how many times do we meet people and we assume them to be something, even though we've known them for a little bit of time? You can know somebody for a nice period of time, and then they can do something. They can do something that is out of their character according to what you know about them. What you know about them, people like, man, I never would expect Eric to act like that or Michelle to act that way. Laura says, see, because he's a cop, I have less grace for him. He had more repercussions. If he wasn't a cop, my opinion would be different, most likely. I recognize my bias, though, and that's cool. I'm glad you recognize your bias. That's fine. That's having a bias. There's nothing wrong with having a bias. There's nothing wrong. And on this channel, we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? If you got a bias, and it's legit, then you good. I don't care. I don't care. I want you to state your claim. I want you to state your vantage point. I want that. You feel me? I want that. But let me tell you something. Was he a cop at the time, or did he go into father mode? Was he in father mode the whole time? Did he just use his cop skill just to piece it together? But when he did the crime in the heat of the moment, was he in father mode? He didn't say. Listen to this real quick. The man on the witness stand said that this man talked about his wife and family. He didn't say nothing about the fact that he was going to lose his job or his badge. He did not say anything. He's like, man, I'm gonna lose my badge. He didn't say nothing about his badge. The first thing he mentioned was his family. See, we gotta dissect it just a little bit, because again, there's two sides. Now, the fact of the matter is this: the man unalived the judge. Okay, that's the fact. The motivation. Now we're getting into the speculation. Now we're getting into the part where the speculation has to make some sense now, because this is a different type of case. You know, if you see the video, obviously he did it, but are you going to call that first degree? Are you going to call that manslaughter, what are you going to call it though? See, we got to think like them. We got to think like them. What would they call it? They being the state, the prosecution, the judge, the verdict, the jury. What would people in general call it? But you got to get all of the facts first. What was on that phone, man? What was on that phone, dog? And let me tell you something. I'm not a big fan of cops. I'm not a big fan of prosecution. I'm not a big fan of the judicial system at all. But I'll tell you one thing. There was something in that phone that he saw that ain't, I'm telling you, that phone, we need that phone. We need that phone. Having suspicion is not premeditation, though, Miss Two T's. Having a suspicion, even if you got all your ducks in a row, that don't mean you have confirmation something happened. As a matter of fact, ladies, y'all can have suspicion about a man cheating all day long. Sometimes your suspicion be wrong. Then you go inside your man's phone and it ain't got nothing to do with you or what you thought was going on. But you had your suspicion. So you premeditate. So you was premeditating on getting that phone and finding out that you had a premeditated thought, like, I'm going in the phone right now. You know what I'm saying? This time the phone is evidence of something else. No, even the action behind suspicion doesn't mean you premeditated. It could have happened. He could have been faced with reality right then at that moment and then snapped. You gotta be a little bit objective here with this when it comes to, because you're saying premeditation. And the whole thing about premeditation, again, premeditation is a good argument, but there's another side to it. There was some suspicion that happened. So in the heat, is this a passionate heat of the moment situation? It seems like it. It seems like it. So the defense would have a strong point, but the prosecution, these are two strong points on both ends. You got premeditation, and then you got the fact that there was some suspicion that led to the premeditation. These are some great points. Two strong points here. All right. But can you understand how that could happen where somebody could snap? Steph K said, you got to go to my comment about cheating at TV. I said the same thing. Which one? Let me see. Hold on. Let me get to it. Let me see if I can find you. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I can't find it. I'm sorry, Steph. Go ahead and resubmit the comment so I can see it. She said, Miss Tusi said, I'll give you that, Tay. I can see that. He said it, confirmed it, and snapped. Right. So I'm saying, otherwise, if he knew for a fact that what his suspicion was true, what's the point of grabbing the judge's phone for? There are some things, see, we got to be careful, because there are some things where we don't want to believe it, but it's reality. What if that was the case in his mind? Like, man, I don't want to believe that this judge got my underage daughter phone number in his phone saved under the name police. I don't want to believe that. But then he see it. And then all of a sudden, red eyes. So I'm just saying, even though on the prosecution side, great premeditated, oh man, y'all broke bread and everything. It's reason to say that you, again, when I talked about breaking bread with him before he shot him, like, dude, he probably did that knowing he was going to do it. And then, like, you know what? I'm gonna let this man have his last meal. We have been friends for a long time. Some people get sick like that. I'm gonna let this man have his last meal. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let him have his last meal, and then but I'm gonna take him out though. I'll let you eat your last meal, get your shrimp, matter of fact, I'm gonna pay for it. It's on me. And I'm gonna make sure you get whatever you want before I get you out of here. So that's premeditated. He knew he was gonna do it. So that's still a good point. That's still a good, but then there's also that other piece. That's his actions show that he was looking for something. See, that's the thing. He didn't have it confirmed in his mind before he started doing anything. His actions showed like, man, I need to find out if this is real or not. So I'm just saying. But this is great. Man. I like this conversation, man. This is dope. But what if in his head he was like, if I go in here and this is that, I'm going to kill, man, what? Again, that right there, of course. Now we could say that's premeditated. But really, when it comes to premeditated, it means you have this thought in your mind without any type of caveat. Like, this is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to do. If you have a premeditated thought, all these other nuances go out the window. Right, that's all I'm saying. More information before I say it's premeditated or not. We got to get the phone is the key. The phone is the key. I'm telling you. Whatever was in that phone is the key. It is the key. Hold on, let me see if I Nim said, although there's a difference between you have my underage daughter number and then you are cheating with my wife and this number prove you are close to her. Right. I mean, this is the analogy was that because of the fact of we have suspicions of things when we're in relationships. Now, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you have a suspicion that they are doing something like cheating on you or whatever, okay, what led you to think that in the first place? Are they doing things differently? You know what I'm saying? They coming home a little bit later than they used to, than they normally do. What led you to have the thought that you're having or the suspicion that you're having? You see what I'm saying? So even though the thoughts are there, they're there because something happened. There is something that took place that suspicion. See, suspicions are something that get risen. They rise up to your mind, like, man, based on you and your wife or your husband or your lady or whatever, y'all normally have a certain way of communicating, and all of a sudden y'all stop. One person stops communicating that way, and they do it for like 2 weeks. Now everything is shifting. Okay, now you're suspicious. You see what I'm saying? And so it's the same thing of him thinking like, yo, man, something's going on with my daughter. Why is she acting like, what's going on? Hey, you know? So something led to his suspicion. Something led to his suspicion. You know what I'm saying? I need to know who the judge was messing with, the wife or the daughter. I know he could snap with both, but I think not many people with a gun would leave with a living judge if it was the daughter. So I'm saying, when he finds that out, how do we know that the wife wasn't using the daughter's phone to hide her infidelity? There you go. That's possible. That is possible. But guess what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you why. Because all the sheriff saw was his daughter's number saved under a different name. Even if that's the case. And this is a good point. I like this. Because it's easy to say that the wife used the daughter's phone for sure. But in the sheriff mind, all he saw was, man, this is my daughter's number. You got my daughter in your phone. But we don't, and then again, we don't know if there's going to be some type of, that's a very good point. We don't know if there's any type of infidelity or anything like that. Again, it's alleged. Allegedly. So let me ask you a question. If you are the defense, or matter of fact, if you're the prosecution or the defense, doesn't matter. Are you going to bring the wife up as a witness? Would you bring the wife up as a witness to this case in the trial? Because it's a good point, D. I agree, Tracy. I agree. This is a good point. Yeah, I believe the judge was married. His family was there. I believe, hey, everybody up in that boy. And the sheriff family there, they all knew each other. They were not strangers at all. They all knew each other, KP. So yeah, everybody in the cookie jar. Everybody in that cookie jar. Let me know if you were the defense, if you discovered that your client's wife was cheating with the guy that he laid down, are you calling the wife on the stand to further to put legs on your defense that he snapped, so that way he can get voluntary manslaughter, so he won't face the death penalty? Because that's what they're trying to do. He doesn't want to face the death penalty. Only if she got subpoenaed. If they subpoena and say, "Hey, we want you to testify," then you have to. You know, you see how this goes, right? You know the subpoenas, man. Once they subpoena you to testify, it's a wrap. You got to appear in court. If you are scheduled for court, you got to go to court. Period, bro. You got to go to court. If she refused, that's fine, but she gets subpoenaed, it's a wrap. He said, you do know the number could have been saved that way in the judge's phone, but not saved in the daughter's phone. Well, yeah, in the judge's phone, it was saved as police. In the daughter's phone, what was it saved as? Judge Mullins? Spousal rights. Ha! I don't know. I don't think Kentucky roll like that. I don't think Kentucky roll like that. Let's find out. Let's find out real quick. Let's find out. I'll testify. See here, in criminal cases, the spouse of a criminal defendant who is called as a witness by the prosecution may choose to testify, but cannot be compelled to testify against his or her spouse about events that occur before and during the marriage. So it's related to the marriage. It's not related to anything of that nature. In this case, this has nothing to do with their marriage or anything of that nature, I believe. Let's see here. It's a legal protection, part of the idea of no self-incrimination. Legally speaking, a married couple is considered one person by government. So it's natural that if a person cannot be compelled to testify against himself, then a spouse should be the same since they are legally one person. Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, that's on Reddit. Let's see. All right. So you might be on to something there. My bad. This is what it's all about. Oh, criminaldefenselawyer.com says, can spouses be forced to testify against one another? Privilege has a special meaning under the law. Hold on. Meaning under the law, protection from being forced to testify about communications between yourself and a person with whom you have a special relationship, such as a spouse. So I'm thinking here. That, let me see here. Exactly. So this is what I'm saying here. That's what I'm saying. It depends on the state. So I know in Michigan, that's not the case. You can testify against each other in Michigan. I know that for a fact. Yeah. So if it's something like, for instance, if you in a marriage and then your spouse is abusing you, right, or spousal abuse or something of that nature, you can press charge, testify against, and the whole nine within the confines of the marriage or whatever the case may be. To incriminate your spouse, you again, depending on the state, I think all bets are off. Let's see here. See what's on the comments real quick. This case right here got everybody over here like, man, what's going on? Everybody thinking though, man. Okay, in Kentucky, they can refuse to testify. Okay, great. So if they can refuse to testify, then that means the wife doesn't have to testify. KP said, but would it be one of those Fifth Amendment being saved by immunity type things? Well, again, because in marriage you are considered one person, one entity. This is why you could join everything together. Then that wouldn't be the case. You have the right to testify, but they can't force you to testify. That's facts. That's facts. All right, let's go. If you're the prosecution, though, you're gonna at least say, hey. Or the defense. You was cheating on your husband, wasn't you? Dang. And I'm thinking about this based on what Dee said earlier about the fact that the daughter's phone number was saved in Mullin's phone and to hide the fact that she was probably using the daughter's phone to do her thing. That's possible. That was a great point. Shout out to Dee. Everybody put Dee in the chat. That's a great point. She the one got us into this. She the one put us in this rabbit hole that we in right now. She definitely put me in a rabbit hole. Man. Your wife used your daughter's phone to talk to Mullin. Now you may call my daughter, don't call me directly. Did he see that his wife's name came up in a text or something? I don't know. But it was under the daughter's name. I have no idea. Or did he what was on that phone is what we need to know. Steph Jenkins said, I love you, Tay Biz. We have some real conversations. We do, man. We be having some real conversations up in here. You feel me? Up in here. Dee made a great point. I loved it. That's why I ran with it, because that was actually facts. You know what I'm saying? If we was able to do the whole cheating thing, what would be the most, I mean, I know this is bad to say, what would be the wisest way to do evil, right? It would probably be that. But the daughter is a teenager, though. The daughter's a teenager, so she's not far away from knowing what's right and wrong either. So it's a lot of nuances, man. Again, we need that phone. We need that. All right, let's go ahead and get into this panel real quick, man. We done went deep into the abyss with Dee, man. Let's go.
Into this, I want to jump, like, from what you're hearing here, like, why would the sheriff's teenage daughter's phone number be in the judge's phone?
You know, and last time we talked about this, Vinny, this was one of some other theories, including a member about a lawsuit and maybe the civil case with the rape in the chambers by one of the deputies from the sheriff. But clearly, I think, you know, we've touched on it before. And now she's 15. What's her phone number doing in there? I mean, is there some involvement there? Is the sheriff in there? He's obviously, it was a heat of passion. And you wondered, was it sexual? What was the relationship there? I mean, was he stalking her? Or was he, in any way?
She was, hold on. She talking way too fast. Let's slow her down just a little bit. Hold on. Did she say heat of passion? Did she say heat of passion? The daughter is 15. Hold on. The daughter is 15. More stuff. The daughter is 15. Heat of passion. She used those words. Man. Okay. Now these are supposed to be expert analysts, all right? So we're just, you know, experts. Okay. We gonna give them that. Okay, they're experts, all right. They been in the game for a minute. She said heat of passion. Now again, Miss Two T's, like you said, still could be premeditated. And even a heat of even when you have a thought that's already there, it could have came from something that's passionate. But in the moment, like you're making a decision right then and there, you're triggered. That's a whole different ball game. Man, let's go though. I like this. Let's go back a little bit. Let's go back just a little bit, just a little. Not a lot, just a little.
Involvement there? Is the sheriff in there? He's obviously was a heat of passion. And you wondered, was it sexual? What was the relationship there? I mean, was he stalking her? Or was he, in any way inappropriate with her? Because that's the kind of thing that would make any dad, crazy mad. And that's what happened.
And if you're a dad and you carry a gun with you, you're very familiar, you're the sheriff. I still can't believe this happened.
I know.
But now we've got to peel back and figure out why. Rick, I want to play one more thing for you, because this part adds just another wrinkle to trying to figure it out, because these are the alleged words of the sheriff himself after he surrenders himself. Let's listen.
I wasn't present, but when he was taken into custody, I was told by one of the other officers that were there that he made a comment, they're trying to kidnap my wife and kid.
Okay. So the daughter's number is in the judge's phone, Rick King, but then the sheriff, when he gets arrested, says they're, not he, they're trying to kidnap not just his daughter, but my wife and my daughter. What is going on here?
I wish I could tell you, Vinny, but one of the things about preliminary hearings is that they are always, one of the characteristic is they are intentionally vague. The officer that they call to testify has some
It was Sergeant Schultz. I know nothing, nothing. Like, you're the lead investigator. It's 2 weeks into this thing, and you know nothing. Like the local reporter from the paper apparently knows more than the lead investigator. I find that ridiculous.
It's intentional.
Yeah, exactly. Now that's a good point by Vinny, because again, when you're the lead investigator, normally in any circumstance, when a case like this happens, where especially in a case where you're trying to find a suspect, they always give you 48 hours, right? They always give you 48 hours or less in order to find out who the person is. You've been in this for 2 weeks, before the preliminary hearing even happened, you've been at this for a while, and you're just like, I don't know what the other people heard. I don't know what the other people said. I don't know if there was any type of yelling. I don't know if there was any type of argument that happened or anything like that. But you have other people who saying that they heard the man say help. You didn't hear them arguing? You didn't hear them arguing about something, some type of subject matter at all? Come on now. You had to have heard something. Just something, right? Come on, man.
But it's intentional.
But I think it's ridiculous. He knew more.
I agree. But they intentionally shield him, or he does not disclose everything that he knows in an effort to hold back from the defense lawyers what's actually going on in the case. He knows. One of the things that I question is he used the words. He called from his phone, and then he tried to call from the judge's phone. Well, did that phone call connect? Was there something that happened? I'd like to know that, but they don't tell us.
I know nothing. Nothing. Michael Sterling's too young. He doesn't remember all these heroes. Michael, could there be? And this is, I'm looking. Is there a lot more potentially to this? If he's saying they're trying to kidnap my wife and my daughter. We already know there's something rotten going on in Letcher County inside the judge's chambers with inmates being sexually assaulted, okay? So, anything's on the table right now in Letcher County. Anything. I hate to say it because there are probably tons of good people there living great lives, but there's something rotten. Could there be more to this?
Yeah, Benny, you can take some context clues from the way the defense attorney was questioning the lead investigator. When he was asking him, hey, was there anybody within listening distance who would have heard what happened just before the shots were fired? And he says, yes, there were some people who heard something, but I haven't been involved in those interviews. I haven't spoken.
There you go. See, we just said it, right? We just said it. You mean to tell me that you have people who saying, yeah, they heard something, but you haven't interviewed them to figure out what they heard, what was actually being talked about? Because at this particular point, anything goes. And what Didi said in the chat about the fact that the wife using the daughter's phone to do something little on the side, what it makes sense from a mischievous standpoint. Okay. So at the end of the day, all of it is speculation. Now we have the preliminary hearing. You haven't heard anyone else's testimony about what they heard or what they have not heard, but you did specify the fact that you heard somebody say that this judge said he asked for help twice. Come on, man. Come on, lead investigator. Don't be no Detective Thorpe. Don't act squirrel brain on us now, dog. You don't get no squirrel brain on us now, dog. Come on, man.
spoken to them. I don't know exactly what they're going to say they heard. Again, being intentionally vague, because if they had something to offer that could potentially mitigate this probable cause hearing, they're shielding the lead investigator away from that information because they want to make sure they get the necessary probable cause. But it does seem like something more obviously is going on here. And, without speculating, you can take context clues from the way the defense attorney was questioning the lead investigator. The questions he was asking about the phone, did it connect? Was the phone number in there? Basically, and defense attorneys don't ask questions they don't already know the answer to. He knew the number was in there. He knew, his client probably told him. So he knew, there was something more here. And so if you take just those context clues from the cross-examination, we know there's a lot more about to hit the fan in Letcher County.
Yeah, the sheriff knows everything.
What about internal affairs? Do you think internal affairs would get into something like this? What do you all think about that? As we continue to watch this video, let me know if you think about internal affairs or something of that nature. Because I believe, like Didi just pointed out in the chat, that you only get other agencies to get involved. Just like with any type of situation where police officers are doing something within its own district or within its own, precinct or whatever the case may be, they normally get like FBI or DEA or the DEA or something like that get into it. Like, so you think internal affairs will get into this, man? Let me know what y'all think about that.
He's the one person on earth who knows the most about what happened inside the chambers and why this all happened. He knows. But let me go on a completely different approach to this, Ann. He's saying they're trying to kidnap my wife and daughter. Is it possible that there was something happening, but maybe there's a moment of him being delusional, that he believes there's some conspiracy, that maybe there's some level of mental illness with this judge, thinking that someone's trying to kidnap his wife and daughter, taking things out of context and putting them together in some strange way? Is that possible? Because otherwise, there's somebody else out there who's trying to kidnap his wife and daughter, and the sheriff can't protect him because he's locked up.
Yeah, if he said that, because it's a puzzler, saying that. Did he hear it right, to relate to court? But right. Did it be some kind of mental, saying they're all out there, look at them all, they're coming after me, they're going to get my family. And it's nothing to laugh about. I mean, it's a terrible position for someone to be in, having schizophrenia or being paranoid. But there could be something mental, and that could also be why he decided to shoot the judge in his own chambers in front of God and everybody, and walk outside and turn himself in.
Does that make sense, Rick, as a possibility of what's going on here?
So here's my thoughts on that, Vinny. I don't think so, and here's why. Because if the sheriff thought that there was someone other than the judge who had the potential to kidnap his wife and daughter, and that's why he reacted that way. Once he shot the judge, whoever else was out there, he had the opportunity to leave that courthouse and do whatever he was going to do. But that's not what he did. He shot the judge, and then he walked out and he surrendered. And that says to me that whatever threat that he thought existed, he settled it in that room that night.
And Vinny, you can take taking context clues from the defense attorney who probably knows a lot. He said extreme emotional disturbance in his argument to the judge. He said, this is not a murder.
You have teed it up, Michael Sterling, once again, teeing up the next segment when we come back. Michael Sterling, Kentucky law for us. Don't go anywhere.
All right. We're going to break down Kentucky law for it. Okay, this is good now. This is good. So shout out to D saying about the fact that they may not have internal affairs because they're so small of a county. However, what I was going to ask about maybe other agencies that can get involved, or maybe, just maybe, do you think that a county that small may have an appointed private investigator of some sort that's been working with the police for a long time? Because some people in some counties and stuff have that kind of thing where they get they call them specialists and things like that. It's sort of like Nathan Wade was a special prosecutor for never mind, sorry. I always try to shoot a shot at Fulton County for some reason. But I think that there's going to have to be something deeper in order for, I would say, a deeper investigation in order for all these things to come to light, I think, man. D said a lot of jurisdictional issues come into play. Yeah, that's what I'm gathering that as we talk about it, because again, you laid out the judge, my boy. You laid out the judge, and the fact that you're involved as a sheriff, you supposed to uphold the law, and then you do something like this, knowing the consequences. Now, that's the one thing he did know. He knew that if I do this, I'm going to pay full consequence on this. You know what I'm saying? So he know for a fact that death penalty is potential in this particular case, in this particular crime. So this is very, very interesting that it comes down to also jurisdictional issues at play as well, to be able to, I would say, fairly prosecute this man, and at the same time he can, be fairly tried. So it's kind of interesting, man. This is very, very, very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. She said, commenter, he didn't just pew and walk out. He pew, then pew, open the door, turned around, bent under the desk, pew, some more. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So again, he made sure that there was nothing left to, in his mind, okay, to say, hey, I didn't do what I needed to do. He knew full-fledged at that point that once that happened, once whatever happened on that phone happened, he knew that, okay, I'm going to get rid of this dude, man. I'm about to get rid of this guy. So that's a good comment towards the commenter on that comment. D said, I can't remember if you said West Liberty or East Liberty, but West Liberty has less than 5,000. Well, East Liberty, the one of the judges I think is from East Liberty County, I believe. East Liberty, I think it was another one called Morgan County. I think the judge, is from the judge that's over the preliminary hearing. He is also in those counties, and I believe East Liberty has to do this because of the fact that this happened in different county, I believe, or a different area or something of that nature that they said. So this is really, really crazy. It's really, really crazy how deep this rabbit hole goes, even though it's a small area. But let's go. Let's get into this.
If there is an issue as to extreme emotional disturbance, then there has to be some evidence that would rebut that. And specifically, when I asked the witness today if there was any evidence to rebut that this occurred as a direct result in the moment of this observation, you found they have none of this. And I think it's just probable cause. But I think they've established probable cause for manslaughter first and not murder. But I've heard nothing that indicates that this.
We have an intelligent chat, man. Shout out to the chat. Let's go. Y'all heard the man say manslaughter in the chat? Did y'all hear that? The man said manslaughter again. So we figured out the defense's angle before they even did it. Before we even got to this point, we figured it out that they're gonna go the manslaughter route. They're gonna go the manslaughter route. All right, let's go.
This observation, you found they have none of this, and I think it's just probable cause. But I think they've established probable cause for manslaughter first and not murder. But I've heard nothing that indicates that this is not, an example of an extreme emotional disturbance relative to the following.
That was the argument from the sheriff's attorney trying to explain to the judge that the only thing that they've shown probable cause of here is manslaughter, not murder. Why is he saying that? Because that's what this case is going to be about because of Kentucky law. Take a look at the murder statute. A person is not guilty.
Okay, let's read it real quick here. A person is not guilty of murder if he acted under the influence of extreme emotional disturbance for which there was a reasonable explanation or excuse, the reasonableness of which is to be determined from the viewpoint of a person in the defendant's situation under the circumstances as the defendant believed them to be. There it is.
Guilty of murder if he acted under the influence of extreme emotional disturbance for which there was a reasonable explanation or excuse, the reasonableness of which is to be determined from the viewpoint of a person in the defendant's situation under the circumstances as that put yourself in the shoes of the accused, in the shoes of the sheriff. Manslaughter in Kentucky. The person is guilty of manslaughter when he or she causes the death of such person or of a third person under circumstances which do not constitute murder because he or she acts under the influence of extreme emotional disturbance. His state of mind at the time.
Yes.
Big difference between murder and manslaughter. Murder of a public official, you could get the death penalty. Manslaughter, you could get 10 years. Let's bring back in the think tank, Ann Bremner, Rick King, Michael Sterling, Michael
Man,
all over it.
This is crazy, man. Let's go, yo. I'm sorry, man. I'm telling you, this case is so interesting to me. I mean, this case is so interesting. I'm definitely, again, I promise y'all, I'm definitely going to be on this. All right, let's go.
He knows what's going on here. The professor. Take what's happened here, what we seem to know, and how is your analysis of what this case is and what happened and what the appropriate verdict would be based upon what we know now?
So it's the question becomes the reasonable explanation or excuse, Benny. So we have to ask ourselves from what the defendant knew at the time. So what we know so far is that the sheriff believed that his daughter was in imminent danger, that his wife was in imminent danger, and that somehow this judicial officer was responsible. That's what we know so far. We know that the phone number of the sheriff's daughter was on the judge's phone. So we know that he reacted to that. So when we take just those facts that we know, there's already been established at least a prima facie, on its face case of extreme emotional disturbance and affirmative defense to the murder charge to try to at least start down the road of manslaughter. So I think there's already at least some basis that's been established for that, for them to look at the lesser offense of manslaughter based on extreme emotional disturbance.
Yeah, and looking at that, I mean, to me, that seems to be what this case is going to be about. It's about the why. And it wasn't fully fleshed out on purpose by Sergeant Schultz today. We know that, but it's going to be about this sheriff and what exactly is this connection to the daughter, his wife, and the kidnappers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love Professor Sterling's great explanation, analysis as usual. Yeah, I think it's textbook, don't you think? I mean, it's like extreme emotional disturbance. I mean, if he didn't have a gun right then, he probably just would have hit him in the face. But he had a gun. And he shot him. And he kept shooting him, didn't he? In the video, he goes,
yeah.
The judge is cowering, gets shot a bunch, and then he goes to the door, and he's going to leave, and then he's like, I'm going to shoot you again. I mean, that seems to me to be a great argument for the defense at this stage.
Rick, how important is it at what moment the sheriff in his own mind, because we don't know the truth of any of this, is putting these pieces together? That is creating this alleged emotional disturbance.
Here we go.
That's huge because what we know is at some point the judge said to him, "Do we need to talk in private?" They go back to his room, and then he looks at his phone, calls. Then he looks at the sheriff's phone, makes some phone calls. But it was the culmination of all those things that created this whatever reaction in the sheriff to feel like whatever took place and whatever was evolving on those phones was placing his daughter, his wife, somewhat in some sort of situation where he felt as though if he didn't do what he did, that they were in harm's way. And what I think is very significant is it's the state's burden to prove the lack of that severe emotional disturbance. So the state has to prove that he lacked that in order to stop him from doing that. And I think that they're going to have a difficult time based on what we know right now.
Well, Michael, okay. Now the big question. Does he have to get on the witness stand to tell the jury what was going through his mind as the jury watches this video of him basically executing the judge?
The question becomes, Vinny, it depends, right? So go back to the civilian employee who has volunteered her phone with the civilian employee of the sheriff's office who's volunteered her phone, who says there's all these text messages and exchanges that she's running to the defense of the sheriff and says, y'all need to know about this. When we figure out what's on that phone, when we figure out what might be on the judge's phone, when we figure out sort of those things, I think, depending on what's on those phones, a jury can definitely get into an inference of what was going through the sheriff's mind at the time. And you can make the argument without necessarily putting him on the stand, especially if you can demonstrate he had knowledge of what was on those phones and those text messages, those exchanges, those communications. If you can demonstrate without putting him on the stand, he had knowledge of those things, the jury can get to an inference of extreme emotional disturbance without him taking the stand.
Ann Bremner, do you believe that the Commonwealth of Kentucky will seek the death penalty for the murder and execution of a public official?
No, I just don't. I mean, under these circumstances, you kill a judge, you should get the death penalty, but this is a very bizarre case. And it's starting out basically leaning in the opposite direction to a death penalty case.
All right, big thank you. This is a big case. It's we learned a lot more today, and we really understand it better because of Ann Bremner, Rick King, and Michael Sterling. Thank you so much for all your help.
Thanks.
When we come back, I will reveal something else you need to know tonight.
All right, let's get to the next chapter of this, man. What y'all thinking? Well, we already established the fact that they're gonna get into some other stuff, some Diddy stuff, and all that kind of stuff. We ain't gonna get into that. All right. So what are we thinking so far, man? All right. So again, that's basically the case. All right. So we already unpacked the fact that they're gonna go the manslaughter route. We figured that out because we asked that question already. If you're not gonna call it first degree murder, what else are you gonna call it? And are you going to call it second degree, or are you going to call it manslaughter? Where are we going to go with this? And the defense is going to go with the manslaughter. So we figured that out. We figured out that there's something on that phone. The phone was compromised, okay? And we figured out the judge had the daughter's number, okay? They didn't hint, nothing was hinted at the fact that the wife had anything to do with the judge sexually. So we may have to exclude the idea that the wife used the daughter's phone to do something with the judge. We may have to exclude that for now. We'll put it in layaway. We'll put that in layaway until we actually start following this trial. Okay. We did establish the fact that the judge did have a creepy photo. All right, the judge's official photo was a little bit on the creep side, okay? And so right here, the judge looked like Pee Wee Uncle Herman, Pee Wee Herman's uncle right there. That's man, that's messed up right there, okay? That's messed up. Y'all silly, man. But this case right here, I'm definitely going to be following up on this case, but we found that out. We found out what the motivation was, all right? Whatever happened in the chambers, whatever the officer saw in those phones, obviously built up an emotional disturbance so much that he reacted the way he did. I have a question. Okay, here we go. Is it possible that, because at the end, let me rewind a little bit. At the end of the analysis that the experts gave, the woman said that he shot him, and then he went up under the table and pew again, right? And she said, this is her quote, what she said. She said, and that's great for the defense. She said that. She said, that's great for the defense that he did that. My question is it possible that the sheriff had premeditated murder, but made it look like manslaughter because he's a cop? He knows how to make it look a certain way. Is it possible that the officer had a premeditated thought to kill the judge, but he knew that he had to do it in a way that looks like manslaughter? Is that possible? Okay, that's something to think about right there. All right, that's something to think about. He is a sheriff. He is a cop. I'm pretty sure that he knows how to do certain things to make things look a certain way. I'm pretty sure he's a police officer. He's been a police officer for a long time. Is it possible that he had? I mean, they did go to lunch. They did break bread earlier with other colleagues as well, or whatever, other people. Mullins like, yo, man, you want to go to chambers and talk? You feel me? And he already knew that he was going to, like I believe Miss Two T's talked about the fact that the premeditation. Okay, let's take that premeditation. Let's say he did have a premeditated thought to murder the judge, but the way he did it looks like an emotional disturbance. It looks like manslaughter by definition of the law in Kentucky that we all read and saw. Is it possible that he had premeditated murder on his mind, but he acted it out as manslaughter? Well, I know you said that, Ms. Two T's. I'm saying you said premeditation, but the way we're talking about the fact that the lady said the fact that he kept shooting her, kept shooting him, the judge, that it's good for the defense to make it look like manslaughter. So that's possible. Is that possible? So it's so many possibilities in this, right? It's so many possibilities in this. And I enjoy speculating because, again, our minds are just going, look, I need it. Didi, see me, I think me, Didi, and others, man, that's in here. We kind of think along, like we need to have the sequential. It has to be sequential, has to be in chronological order. We got to get this timeline, man. We got to get this timeline because I'm telling you right now, the dinner, the food part, the lunch part, and all that kind of stuff. Then going into chamber, what was that conversation like at the lunch table, at the dinner table, whatever? What what was that conversation between the sheriff and that judge while they was breaking bread that led up to Mullins say, hey, do we need to have a conversation in chambers? What was that conversation like? And the only person that could talk about that conversation now is Sheriff Sean Mickey Stines. Oh, Mickey. They had a little gabagool. They had a little bit of a little gabagool, Yeah, let's go into the chambers, huh? Let's go into the chambers, okay? And then you go into the chambers, all of a sudden it's pow, pow, wow, wow. Pow, pow again, wow, wow again. You feel me? What was that conversation like? Whatever that conversation was at that lunch, I'm telling you, something happened that led up to that. And so we got to figure all of that out to figure out whether it's premeditated or whether it's definitively manslaughter. All right. Because at that point, they're talking over lunch. They breaking bread. Everything is cool. They're laughing probably. Okay. They're having lunch. Then what if he say, hey, man, I got a situation I want to talk to you about, man. I don't know how to really come at it, but I want to talk to you about it. And then Mullins was like, hey man, you want to go in chambers and talk about it? Like, privately, is it one of those conversations? So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying right here. Like Dee said, maybe he went to lunch with him intending to have a conversation about it since they were friends. That's what I'm saying. It could have just been an authentic conversation about what he was thinking about what he possibly came across. And again, there are times where when you have people that you talk to and you might find something out, and I don't think that person would do that. But the more and more you dig into it, the more and more you see that there are some things that's showing evidence of the fact that they may be that type of person. You don't want to believe it though. It could have been one of those. It just could have. So there's so many possibilities and theories, but theory goes out the window when possibility becomes the forefront, at the forefront of the thought. So even though we're looking at it from an aspect of the way that it looks now, at the aspect of how, they're breaking bread, everything is cool, all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like out of nowhere. Right. And that's where the premeditation thing come to play. But we don't know what that conversation was like at that lunch and what led up to the fact that he was going. When did he know that he was going to pull the trigger? Was it before at lunch? Was it at lunch, or was it when he saw the phone? You know what I'm saying? Very, very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. But we're going to continue to cover this. This is the Mickey Stines, Judge Mullins case. We're going to definitely keep covering this. Again, the preliminary hearing was October the 1st. I do not know if there's a trial date at all. Again, he did plead not guilty to first-degree murder. So the defense is coming at the angle of manslaughter. They're saying that the prosecution is only showing us manslaughter. They're not showing us first degree. So we're going to continue. I'm pretty sure this is going to be on the trial. How long that trial is going to last, I'm pretty sure it ain't going to last that long. It ain't going to be like YSL. I'll tell you that much. It might be something similar to like the Baldwin, the Russ trial. You know what I'm saying? It might take about 3 or 4 days. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So does any of you have the fancy link from him? So my channel has been demonetized. The only way to support the channel at this point, support me at this point, is through Cash App and PayPal. My channel was demonetized recently because of a Diddy compilation video that I did. Had a little bit of exposure in it, and then I did an appeal, and then they rejected my appeal, so that I can only reapply for remonetization. And on December, actually on Christmas in December. So as for now, the information that Chill just gave you is all the information that I can give at this point. Yeah, they demonetized your boy Rev. Yeah, go roll. Yeah, they did it to me. You know what I'm saying? They sent me an email and all that kind of stuff, and I had no idea what was going on. I was showing them how I create content and things of that nature, and it just wasn't enough information for them. So it is what it is at this point. Excuse me, I had a little tickle in my throat. Nevertheless, it's all good. It's all love. We're still going to continue to drop videos. We're still going to continue to go live and do what we do. Now that I'm feeling a lot better, I'm definitely going to be giving out more content, things of that nature. Following this case for sure. There's another video I'm gonna drop about a young man in North Carolina who got shot and unalived on his wedding day at the reception, and he was going to his car trying to retrieve something, and someone out of nowhere shot him. So I'm going to get more information and details about that case. It was so crazy. On his wedding day, this is at the reception, and for some reason, this person out of nowhere was like, yo, you cut me off at a stop sign or something of that nature. And that's that. So we're going to cover that a little bit and get some more details on that. I think the story is still kind of like developing a little bit. So I got some articles on it about it. I got some information about it. But I'm also going to get into some little details too as well. So I'm kind of just waiting a little bit to see what that's about. But nevertheless, I'm coming with content, man. We're going to have a good time, man. This is something I learned from being demonetized. You know what I'm saying? And even before I got monetized, my motivation was always to bring content and to, speak my voice and also to cover the things that I like to cover as well when it comes to like the judicial system and things like that. I started off with sports, and it was some people that was rocking with me with the sports, but not a whole lot. But I love talking about sports as well, but especially football. I'm a football fanatic. However, at the end of the day, even though I was monetized and I had a chance to experience that, and now that I'm demonetized, I've had a chance to experience this as well. Learning a lot. And also, I'm going to continue to drop my videos and go live and things of that nature. Trust me, if I wasn't sick for the last couple of weeks, I would have definitely been dropping some stuff. But nevertheless, we are in it now, and we are doing our thing. You know what I'm saying? There's so many other ways to be able to support the channel. You can like the videos, you can share the videos, you can comment, you can be in the live, you can subscribe to the channel. There's so many other things you can do to help build the channel. So I appreciate you. I love all y'all in the chat, man. Thank you all so much for rocking with your boy. Yo, it's your boy Tay Biz TV, man. Thank you so much, Biz Nation. Stand up. Everybody put a hashtag Biz Nation real quick in the chat for your boy as we go. Yo, stay true to yourself, show love, and never forget to show mercy and grace. All right? Much love. Peace.
No stress, no biggie. Baby, I'm just too start some businesses. Shorty, you thought it was, they better know it's not that. Talking all that online, they knowing that it's not fake. Sliding through my hood, I make maneuvers like a Uber, baby. Got a 10-year plan, these can't tell what they doing lately. And I'm way too clean, I'm Listerine, I thought they been knew it. All in my lungs, I got my red cup full of that Henny fluid. Young middle Mad Mac, I'm swinging that leg, I'm banging that do or die. And I ain't that Lily before I get crucified. Living in my bloodline, this place in my family tree. How the they pressed, I did my best out of what they handed me. Straight out of that country, know my shawty dick as human air. And I need not mention no extensions, that's human hair. Boy, we grew in